what happened was we didn't really build an agency with a very strong foundation. I mean, it was essentially like built on quicksand. We had like too many employees for the amount of revenue we were doing. We were spending a lot on ads. I had like four guys on my sales team and we were doing like 40,000 a month. And it was just like we were over bloated. I didn't know how to manage the team. And I come to Anas and we rebuilt it, and just along the way, we were essentially starting from zero on a new offer, like Anas said. And he paid the first lead that came in. Then another, then another, then another. And we actually ended that month, we spent about 4,000 on ads and we sold about $20,000 new cash. And I've been through my fair share of programs, like every major program in the like online space, in the, business coaching space. For the most part, I would say on the agency side, I've been in. And for sales, Anas is the best. And I can say that hands down after being in a lot of the big names.
I'm gonna leave it a bit of cliffhanger because you really got to dive into this because you're gonna get some crazy behind the scene things that almost feels illegal to hear or know, and I hope you get to learn so much from their journey. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Anas here, founder of NBC Sales System, and we are pumped to be having one of our special clients here, Mr. Logan Tarver, and he's got a crazy, incredible story, and I can't wait to dive into it because they had a massive rise in the business. You're going to hear about a multi-year journey, and you're going to hear about a massive explosion, some things that probably no one in the industry is qualified to speak on or share on, and they got I'm gonna leave it a bit of cliffhanger because you really got to dive into this because you're gonna get some crazy behind the scene things that almost feels illegal to hear or know, and I hope you get to learn so much from their journey. But at the time when we met, Logan and team, they were essentially at zero, like zero, brand new offer, new switch, new lateral. So we had to go from absolute zero, and just in 2 months alone, we're able to add 30K in new MRR cash in total. So just process that monthly reoccurring in just 2 months. So we're going to go into the nitty gritty of what it looked like on the cold side and the ad side, over 4x ROAS, all the madness, and so much more. So I'm very pumped to have Logan here with us, just willing, to be another one of our incredible guests on Real People, Real Results. So Logan, for the lovely folks, I know a bunch of folks know you in the industry, but tell us a little bit about, Tarver, the journey. Yeah, it's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So, just to kind of start off, we've been in the agency space for a very, very long time. And when we first started out, I mean, we scaled fairly quickly. Like, we scaled the agency from like 5K to 40K in a month. Now, the biggest thing is it was like a very big leap. We had the success a little bit too quickly, and we kind of skipped a lot of the lessons on the way. And what happened was we didn't really build an agency with a very strong foundation. I mean, it was essentially like built on quicksand. And what happens is after a while, like we had a ridiculously big team. We had like too many employees for the amount of revenue we were doing. We were spending a lot on ads. I had like four guys on my sales team and we were doing like 40,000 a month. And it was just like we were over bloated. I didn't know how to manage the team. I was overpaying them because like they were like, I had one guy, he was like, I was overpaying them so they could stay on the team, and I was making like less than someone making at McDonald's, you know? Like, and I'm making all this revenue, but like your bank account stays the same. It's terrible. So like we were making all this money, but we weren't profitable. And that's the biggest thing. It's like people say, oh, we do this revenue, we do that revenue, or we do 50K a month. They hit 50K like 1 month and they say 50K a month.
Of every single month.
Every single month.
Yeah.
It's easy to hit like easy to hit 100K a month, like you could do it, but it's like, can you actually sustain the business? Can you be profitable? And can you be long term? So that's kind of the thing. And essentially the business, crashed down and we rebuilt it, and just along the way, we've had to make multiple sort of like pivots. When we made Anas, we made a very big shift in the structure of the business. So we did have a lot of active clients. However, we were essentially starting from zero on a new offer, like Anas said. And I come to Anas and I'm like, I'm an inbound fairy. I'm like, man, I need the ads. If it's not on my calendar and they haven't watched the VSL, I'm not going to talk to them. Right? That's who I was. I
And
was the guy
someone
Anas
taught
hated.
you that. You were not born, inbound fairy, a
I
princess
was not.
closers, we call them. Okay.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no. And I've been through my fair share of programs, like every major program in the like online space, in the, business coaching space. For the most part, I would say on the agency side, I've been in. And for sales, Anas is the best. And I can say that hands down after being in a lot of the big names. So that's for sure. But just to kind of go back a little bit, we're starting from zero, and I'm like, if they're not booked on my calendar, I don't want to talk to them. But Anas is like, dude, you got a cold call. You got to do outbound. I'm like, really? And mind you,
What
I'm
was
like
that? What was
being
that? What was that like? Right? Like you're like, I invested money to join the alleged world's number one sales and high performance coach, and this guy, this dude, is telling me, "Oh no, 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 we're not." Because I remember when you started, I was like, "Turn off ads. We're not doing ads. We're going straight to cold." Like, what was that like
well, first
mentally?
of all, my ego was like, who do you think I am? Like me, big shot agency. Like, come on, man. I'm like the CEO. I don't do that
Have you
stuff.
not
Like,
seen my
I'm
team?
new. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I was like, who do you think I am? That was like internally. I was like, you know what? Like, let me do it, because it's like you gotta like kind of train that discipline and stuff. And I didn't want to do it, but and we're in like one of the most saturated niches, by the way. I would say probably the I this is gonna I think we're in the hardest niche, which is like roofing, and I can say that hands down. And that's I think it's a very very difficult niche. Just
yeah,
just it's like super oversaturated. So like these guys get blown up literally like 50 times a day. So I was like, it's not gonna work. I was just like, it's not gonna work. But I was like, I will stick with the process. And
because the key
yeah,
word
yeah,
is trust the process.
process. Just
Yeah,
because Anas told me, he's like, if you listen to what I do, you'll be successful. I was like, I don't have a problem with that. Like I will follow instructions, I'll do what it takes. And it's like you have to have that mindset. It's like you bring you to the water, but he can't make you drink it. It's like there's a roadmap
yeah,
for success. You just have to follow it. Everyone knows what it takes to get into shape. Everybody knows what it takes to make a lot of money, but not everyone does it because they just lack that commitment and that discipline and being
yeah,
able to actually follow through on it. And I knew
yeah.
myself, I know I can follow through on something if I set out to it. So
Yeah.
biggest thing was like, I know I can make it happen.
100%. And what happened in that initial phase of hitting the cold, learning the NBC process, and be like, man, I'm gonna go take the alleged hardest niche, most saturated that been pitched, like to go against every single odd, and peers in the space that couldn't crack it, even with ads, not like all of that. Like, tell us like just high level, like what ended up happening, and what did that end up leading to?
Yeah, yeah. So it basically ended up. So like we're used to spending a lot on ads. Number one, like trained me how to actually like deal with prospects, how to really like handle like specific outbound objections, how to be quick when you get an objection. It's like most salespeople, they're very like they're not actually good at what they do. Like they just have a couple scripts memorized. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's not a problem. How long do you need to think about it so I can make sure I'll be available?" "Oh yeah, yeah, I can for sure I can send you an email." It's like you have to be faster than that, number one, and you have to be like creative with the way you do things. And it's like
Yeah,
everyone has these like this specific like SOP for objections, the specific thing for objections. It's like if they say this, you say this, and it's like the thing is you can't just memorize the words. You have to like understand that real thinking behind it. And it's that's the biggest thing is just like the unique methodology of actually handling these objections.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that was a big thing.
That was a big thing. And how much money in the initial phase did you just generate in? Because you're on MRR, like reoccurring, just from
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
cold, from the cold outbound.
Yeah, so for the cold outbound, it was 10 grand. We added in
ten
recurring revenue
grand.
just from the
Okay.
cold outbound, not including like other channels and stuff, but the
Yeah,
cold outbound
which
that
is
first month, just
yeah,
from cold. And mind you, I'm also doing other stuff. I wasn't just like, full time
cold
selling
calling.
because
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah, yeah.
wasn't a 12 hours a day pledge of allegiance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You still got to run a business, do all of that.
Yeah.
You learned the NBC process within the first month. Boom, 10K reoccurring, which is insane in cash. And
Mhm.
then I was like, okay, hey, you've now earned, the privilege. Turn on the ads. What kind of happened now after you're learning NBC? You're hitting the cold, and then what was the ad experience like after that?
So we make these ads, we make a batch of ads, we launch it. And what ended up happening was the first lead that came through. I was on vacation with my family. Okay.
Ooh.
I launched ads while I was on vacation, and it's my last day there. And I have a demo with this guy. And I sometimes, do you ever like have a call and you go into it, you're like, I just know he's not going to close. Like, I like at your, like, do you ever have like, he guy
That's
barely
that
speaks
that's
English.
early
He's like,
on in the coaching.
early on,
Yeah,
early
early
on,
on. We'll
early on.
give you
This
some
is early
grace.
on,
Yeah,
early on.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's an
I
Albanian
mean,
guy. I'm
if you
like,
get a lead ops in and the name's like an ass, you're just like, oh God, this is they're not buying. I get those.
yeah, I won't even call. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, it's like Albanian guy, and I'm like, oh God, I really don't want to take this call. Mind you, I'm like, the whole day I didn't eat, so I was like fasted. I was ready to eat dinner. I was like, I hope this guy no shows so I can go eat with my family because they're about to
Yeah.
leave. And it's like my family, my other family's over. I see them like once a year. And what happens was I'm on the demo. It's 5 o'clock. They call me for dinner. I'm like, Gavin's like, yo, he's on a call. My brother Gavin, he's like, he's on a call. He
Yeah.
can't take it. So I go through the demo goes literally 3 hours. And he hits me with it's a lot of money. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm on
I
vacation.
no no
I
no no
have
no. So I loop it for like, 30 minutes and I closed it. And he paid the first lead that came in. Then another, then another, then another. And we actually ended that month. We spent about 4,000 on ads and we sold about $20,000 new cash
Woo!
on recurring
Let
revenue. That's
on
recurring revenue,
recurring
by the way. So
revenue.
that's not just like four, because 20K new cash, like that's so easy. That's four pips for
Yeah.
5K. It's like you can't close four deals in a month. That's
Yeah.
terrible. So it's like the equivalent would be selling like if we were doing pips, it would be about like 80,000 new cash or like
Yeah.
60,000 new
Even
cash.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so
Which is
it's not, you know what I
That's
mean?
wild. That's wild. That's wild. And like massive kudos for taking the vacation call and being intelligent enough to launch the ads while you're away. But that's huge.
It
So
worked
that's what
out.
it worked out. So that's like 4.5x on ROAS. So you're starting
Yeah.
out like I'm learning NBC. I'm getting into the flow. Like, how do you feel at this stage with like if I was like, hey, I'm gonna throw this lead on your account. Like, how do you feel now in terms of like your sales skills, your capabilities? Like
Oh.
we're
The thing is, like, if I head on a call with someone and they're qualified, I go into it, I'm like, this, they're closed, and they always close.
yeah, and
There's
qualified, you
very
mean like someone you can help, or like that they have money? Like what do you mean?
someone like there's like specific, obviously, like there's different tiers of prospects. There's like
Yeah,
tier one to tier two to
yeah,
tier three to tier four. We have a specific ICP, like ideal client profile, and it's
yeah,
like if somebody meets that criteria, they're
yeah.
going to get
They're
closed
getting close. Okay,
99% of the
and I'm trying to clarify that because someone might hear this. They're like, "Oh, he only closes the perfect leads." I'm like, "No, no, no, no,
yeah,
no. It's
yeah,
because
no,
their
no.
service delivery is complex as crap, and like you actually can't deliver on some of the
Yeah,
prospects, like because
we
these are
DQ
big
people
roofing.
all the time.
Yeah,
All the time we DQ
yeah,
people.
yeah.
I've
So
went into
so
calls though, if I can add super quick, like
yeah.
I've went into calls where it's like a literal like 2 to 3 hour call because they know nothing about the product, they know nothing about this, they've been burned in the past, and it just requires so much time, and you have to work through it, and it just requires
And
like the
these are
biggest.
like the tier three, tier four, and someone could go on YouTube and watch me go in depth in that, which is just going to take a lot more energy. But like they close, they're incredible
The
clients.
reason I
Yeah,
brought the program for those
yeah,
watching, the reason I invested into Anas was because I made a bunch of money off his free YouTube videos. So
let's
that
go.
prospect tier video was like super duper helpful. It was like you actually
Yeah,
need to educate people. That was the biggest
yeah,
takeaway on NBC.
yeah, yeah. I think that's so tough because you know my stance of like when we look at like NBC and how I built it, it wasn't just like oh I did millions on high ticket and I did for my own business or sold it a few because a lot of times when people teach like they have a few offers that they sold on and then they're like I'm going to teach that. I'm like no, this is like a decade and a half. This is so much selling from door to door and B2B and MLM and in person and high ticket and all of that and from the coaching world. And what makes NBC different and like kind of what you're describing here, especially when we talk about the prospect tiers and how you have different approaches to sell, it's that you can't sell all the people the same way. And that's the thing that always
Yeah.
baffles me. Where like when you see in the high ticket space, they're like, okay, you just take them from this stage to that stage to that stage. I'm like, yeah, you're like a assembly line, and you just put humans into it, and you run them through rinse and repeat the same process. You churn out most of them, and then whoever just maybe isn't sophisticated enough or has like such massive pain or you got a really good mark, like you're kind of it's a bit of order taking which always hurts my soul to see. Whereas we call them like the bots, where it's just like copy
Hotline.
paste, say the same bot land, same thing over, 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 over. Very, very, very tough. And I know you come from, no need to share names. You come from many of the different programs. I guess for you, you kind of mentioned to it, like you saw the free YouTube, which is awesome. You got value that you got to it. Like what made you go, okay, I've done these coaching. Like, how is this going to be any different? Why am I going to go here? Like, what was kind of that? And did you have hesitation? Were you skeptic? Like, what was your journey
Oh
like
my
joining?
gosh, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah,
I knew about Anas for a very long time, and I
Oh,
thought he was
nice.
just like an NEPQ guru because I saw
Oh
him with
yeah, you told me this. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because
Tell,
I saw
say
you
that.
with Elias, and I was like, man, Elias, because Elias used to do NEPQ style stuff like
Yeah,
a long
yeah,
time
yeah,
ago. So I was like, oh God, like this guy, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then Ollie texts me. He's like, Gavin was texting Ollie actually, and Ollie's like,
yeah.
Anas is good. I'm like, no, this guy's trash. And he was like, dude, I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. Join the call. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time. This guy sucks. That's what I told him. I was like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's just like some for NEPQ like copy paste. He's like, no, he's not. I thought the same thing. Do it. And the biggest thing was like, I go into it. I'm like, all right. He says just join the call. I join a
Yeah.
call. I submit a call review. I got flamed like so bad on that call review. I was like, oh gosh, like he knows a thing or two. And I was like, okay, okay. I was like, okay, this guy
Okay.
knows something. I was like,
That's
okay,
so
I
funny
got
because I
humbled.
heard that before too. Someone like I remember Ollie being like, "I thought you were all NEPQ," and then he like went into.
No,
By the way, for someone watching, there'll be a link somewhere. He's talking about the Ascenders Tribe. It's the global movement, a community. We do live call reviews, role plays, high performance coaching. There's
still for the value.
like
It's a
it's
no-brainer.
disgusting what's in there. Yeah, it's a no brainer.
No-brainer.
So you could go in there, or go to nbcsalessystem.com to get there. Yeah, so you attended one of those calls, and all did the same thing. And until he went through the stuff, I don't know where to get like I'm NEPQ, which I thought was kind of funny. But so
I
you
never
went
watched
from
any of his stuff. I
okay,
just saw
that's
like a
why
second. I was like, "Pff, this guy's
scam,
trash."
scam.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Okay,
need it.
so you got kind of that call review. You had some paradigm shifts, and then what was that like going in? Were you skeptic, concerned? Did you still have your guard up? What was that like?
Yeah, I was a little bit skeptical, but honestly, it's like proofs in the pudding. It's like one of those things. It's like, for example, you hop on a call with a prospect, they've been burned in the past. I've spoken with so many roofers who've been burned in the past. For context, we've worked with over 200 roofers. So we've worked with a lot of roofing companies, and
Wild.
like a
Yeah,
lot of them have been burned in the past. And
yeah,
the thing is, I'm able to sell them because I just educate them like no one else has educated them. I explain things like no one else has explained things. I explain why they tried, didn't work. So it was just kind of like proofs in the pudding. I hopped on the call, you explained stuff that made a lot of sense. You provided tons of value, and I was like, he knows what he's
done.
doing because it's a done deal. It's like at some point, it's like, what else do you want someone to do? You
Yeah,
know, if it's like
yeah,
if you're afraid of everything, you're not meant to be a business owner. If you're not going to take any sort of risk, it's just not meant for you.
yeah, yeah. Amen, amen. And I know ignoring NBC sales and how amazing the sales
Mhm.
coaching and the program and all of that. I'd love for you to share, like, once you join their program, what's it like from a community? Because you know everyone has a different understanding of a community, and because you've had experience from other programs. Like, what's the tribe like? Maybe tell us a little bit about that. Do you feel supported? Is it fun? Like, just share,
Yeah.
you know.
Everyone's constantly getting better. You feel supported. Everyone's lifting each other up. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like if you want to ascend to the next level, you really have to have those like-minded people around you who want to get better at sales, who want to do these things. So it's like having that community where it's like people are like trying to level up constantly. They're always trying to get better. They're investing in themselves. That's the best thing.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. And do you feel like do you get as a client, do you feel that you're supported? Is it like, oh, you get like a random response here? Like what's your support experience? Yes, we have coaching calls and training and all that every single day. But like just from like a client perspective, what was that like for you?
Whenever I have something that I need solved, I always get it solved. I ask and I'll get like personal DMs, sometimes a huddle if I'm lucky, you know, get an
Yeah.
emotional talk or something. Those are
Yeah.
always great, but the support is phenomenal. When I need something, I get it solved. You know, there hasn't ever been a time where I felt like I wasn't getting enough support.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
if hypothetically there was, it's like Sathal serving at the highest level, it would be fixed.
To be fair. So true. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. If you could, boy, like what's one thing you love the most about the program, the experience, the journey? I know there's different things, but like what's one thing that like sticks out to you?
Okay.
You can think on. You're like, I hate it all.
How did you know? No, I'm just kidding. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is just the daily calls. It's like a
Mm,
great way to start your day. And it's like good
mm,
practice constantly, constant practice. It's like having a schedule in place where it's like you have set time for like the sales stuff and for practicing and drilling and getting better is very, very important when you want to level
yeah.
up.
So good.
Because
So
it keeps you in line.
yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you
So
sharp, it
good.
keeps you in line.
Yeah, yeah. For those watching, because we every single day we do coaching, we have role plays, call reviews, we're teaching on new material every single day, because part of it is not just like here's the NBC sales process; it's contextualized to every industry, every offer, every type of avatar prospect, all of that. And myself and my coaches, like part of our mandate, always and forever, is to sell on many different offers, many different industries, because we like to practice what we preach. Even funny that you bring it roofing. You've seen me hop on roofing, and can you talk a little bit about what that's like? That you're like, I'm a client. Here's my coach, right? And a lot of times when people are like, you're in a coaching program, like the coach is in an ivory tower, or like the coach is there, and then you get like the sub minions that are like in the program or whatever. What was it like for you to see, whether it's me or someone else from the team, just to be taking sales and set calls on not just your offer, but other ones? Like maybe share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I remember one time I had a guy, I was like, he gave me this objection, da, 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 and I was like, and you were like, give me his number. I was like, what for what? You're like, I'm gonna call him, give me his number on the live tribe call. You gave me his number and you called him and you like resold him into it. And it just like ended up he didn't have the money. Like logistically you couldn't do it. And the thing about what we do, it's not like an instant ROI where it's like pay money, get instant results. So we cannot bring on the people who need like an instant ROI. So it was
Yeah,
crazy. And then Eli's hopped on live resells for me, which were crazy. I was like, hey, I really need a live resell. He was like, that. He literally set aside like an hour on his calendar for it and went through it.
yeah,
And it was absolutely insane because I
yeah,
don't know a single sales coach that will actually take a live sales call for you. Not one.
yeah. Or any of their team, right? So they're talking about me or
Yeah.
Eli or any of our other coaches.
Yeah.
I was even just thinking about the most recent roofing call. I hopped on one for Matthew. I don't know if you watched that one,
Yeah.
and
4 hour call.
that was like huge giga sale live from what
My
was it? It
goodness.
was like operations guy to like
And the
director
wife comes
owner
in.
to the wife in the office to the
It's like, who
payroll.
wants this
It was
money?
money. It was every cell under the sun, and that was my first roofing sale. It was like one call, piff on the call, and it was we jacked up the client's price. I'm just trying to remember all the details just so I could stay ethical and true
That was a
always.
crazy
But
call.
I was a crazy call. Yeah, I was a crazy call, and I just even as I share that, like it sounds so nuts to say,
A
that we're
4 hour
like
call
yeah, like
for a
that
client.
might be the for a client that we do not get paid for. We don't take a rev share or any of that, but that is just the level of I don't even know insanity, commitment, whatever it takes, and yeah, it's just I think like the purpose of that is we're always looking for the next challenge, the next thing, so like keeps us on our edge. We're like even when I hop on, I'm like flip me a lead. I'm like I got one lead, I'm gonna go close that thing, right? But it's also like when someone sees that happen, it's like the impossible becomes possible because maybe kind of just like from your experience before joining NBC and knowing what you know about sales and what you've done, and you had like a vast experience, and then learning NBC sales, experiencing for yourself and what you're seeing, like what's your view now on like prospects and sales, doable, not like have you seen a shift in the impossible to possible, or like what was kind of your experience on that?
Yeah, like 100%. And the thing is not you don't want to sell everyone to your program. If you are, that's just a red
100%.
flag. But it's like
Yes.
if someone meets your criteria and it's like they qualify to work with you, it's like you can sell that person. And it's like you have to go through a different process with a different prospect. Now, most people know this. They're like, oh, I just need to ask different questions. I need to like it's there's a lot more nuance. The way you present needs to be different. You need to use their language to build affinity. You need to build sophistication. Like you need to explain like through your presentation like why what they tried didn't work. A lot of people say like the sales made in discovery, and it's like that's the biggest common misconception. Like it can be, but I honestly think the sale is made in the like you said, if you had two things, it would be the presentation and the frame.
The bulletproof
That's it.
presentation. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you have like I think that it's not the discovery is like the icing on the cake. I think the cake is the bulletproof and the discovery is the icing on the cake. So it's
Yeah.
like you use the information from the discovery in a thorough BP, like literally just dismantling
Yeah.
everything. By the way,
Yeah.
BP is just presentation. It's
Bulletproof
like, the
presentation. Yeah.
the way Anas calls it the bulletproof presentation because it's just
Yeah.
bulletproof. They can't give you
It's
any objections.
bulletproof. You can go no discovery, no fact finding. Hello, BP, close, collect payments. Yeah.
And
That's
by the
that's
way, I've done that with some of Anas's calls. Like People hop on. I will tell you the biggest thing. I can't give away all the sauce,
Yeah.
but there was
Whoa,
who,
whoa. No, I'm joking. You can share. You can
I
share.
mean,
Yeah. You can share.
there was people who like who were out of the program, and they like on the discovery they asked for a ballpark. They were like, "That's way too much money." And like I'm like, just let's hop on the call. Like I'm telling you, like once we go through everything, it's gonna be a no-brainer. Like I just want to provide you the value. And you kind of frame
Yeah.
it like value.
This is like a
I get
lead
on
that
the
you're
call,
calling. You're talking about.
a
Yeah.
lead I
Okay.
called, and we go through
Yeah.
the discovery on the phone because we do a two-call close discovery. They're like, how much can I get a ballpark? I give them a ballpark. They're like, wow, that's way too much money. I'm like, and they like no show, and I'm following up with like weeks, and I'm like, let's just please, like, let's just hop on the call. Like, my team put together some great stuff for you. I would be really like, they'd be really disappointed if I don't like at least get to show you it. And I did that with two people, okay, and I get
Yeah.
on straight to BP, 1 hour long BP, literally like 40-minute long, just like everything,
Okay.
40 minutes, and then they paid, no
They pay.
discovery, just
So,
straight to the
let's
BP.
go.
Just
So here's the
it's not
crazy thing.
needed,
It's not needed. Here's the
but you
crazy
should
thing.
do it though.
You should, for sure, for sure, for sure. I think one thing to clarify for someone watching this, because they're like, they'll hear like an hour call, like that's insane, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
the anomalies of the three. And I think, again, go watch the YouTube video on the prospect tiers. These are what someone would call a shit lead. These are, even though
Mhm.
they're not shit, they're just, when someone says, oh, it's shit lead, or it's bad marketing, or like, I hate the terms like broker, I'm just like, no, it's just a lack of skill. And because most people
Mhm.
don't have the skill and the acumen to build that and crush it and do it right, they just label it as a bad lead. So when we're saying these like extra crazy long times, it's obviously not the norm. And I just want to clarify that. That's because we're taking the impossible. Like someone gets on a call, super aggressive, super A type, like will just like will dummy you. And what's the price? Tell me this. I don't want to pay. Da, 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 and they're just so intense. And then you get them on, and it's like the really intense ones that almost like literally no one on the planet will be able to close. They might take a little bit longer. Like I always say, the harder they are, the better they buy, because like the harder they are, no one ever gets through to them. But then when they flip, like they become the best clients. You get them the best results. They're like all in, and like they're just boom. Where it's kind of like you coming in thinking I'm shit and all of this, and then you get value, you get on a call, and you get to experience like Sapo serving at the highest level. You come in, it's like boom, you become just incredible client from the jump, right? And that's why it's like so fun and great to show up and serve every day and work with you, because you're just like, man, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna trust in the boss. You do the work, it's just boom, instant. Like it's just it's the harder they are, always the better. So I just really want to emphasize that it's that I'm a big believer of there are no bad leads, there are just untrained salespeople. And that's just the reality. And most people don't have enough context, depth, and experience and variety in how they sell. And that's why they lose so many of these leads. We always say there's prospect types. You got bucket A, prospect A, B, C, D, E, F. And most people learn with their process how to close like prospect A and B. And anytime they get any of the other prospect types, they're just like, oh, these are bad leads. And I'm like, no, no, you can close all of these. And then you just get into the game of like, you get to select like we do. It's like, are we bringing in the right people? It's just about making sure that you can help them out. I love that you share that. Maybe the $1 million question for, because we help the business owners, the closers, the setters, whether it's like running and managing a whole sales team, doing the marketing, all of that, whether it's just someone just getting into it, kind of all the different walks. For someone watching that's like, I don't know, should I do it? Or, like I'm on the fence or I'm not sure. Even like someone just like reserved about booking a call because maybe like, I don't want to get, if these guys are so good at sales, they're going to hard sell me or like whatever, all of that, even though we're repping NBC everywhere and never be closing, baby. Like what piece of insight or advice would you have for someone that's a little bit hesitant or even reluctant just to speak on the phone or book a call with my team?
The biggest thing is like it is actually I've been in I've spent six figures, like over six figures on coaching programs, like in totality. Like on coaching, I've spent well over six figures. Not a single program has a satisfaction guarantee. Not a single one. It's all like, oh, we'll work for free, nothing's guaranteed. Or they'll like just try to talk their way out of it. Like, well, why are you thinking about getting out before you even get in? Like, like just like the copy paste word. Like, but the thing is this, like, it is actually zero risk. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Now, the thing is, you need to learn how to invest into yourself or you're not going to scale your business. It's like, it's very hard to convince someone to do something that you're not able to do yourself. You're trying to convince these prospects, oh, you got to buy my program, you have to invest in this, but you're not willing to
Yeah.
invest in yourself. So the biggest thing is like the way to fast track your success is by paying for people's time who actually have done what you want to do. So if you want to get better at sales, you need to pay for someone who has 10 plus years of sales experience, millions of dollars in commissions, and so on and so forth. The biggest thing is like the proof's in the pudding. Join it, get the value. Like if you're unsure and you're skeptical like I was, how about you join the calls and get value? So the way I joined Analysis program, I joined the free calls. I got a lot of value. I reach out. I'm like, how much is your time per hour? So I can pay for a call.
Oh
I paid
yeah,
for a
because you you
call.
you you paid
Yes.
for a call with me directly. Yeah, yeah,
I paid for his time because I needed
yeah,
more value. And it
yeah,
actually ended up turning me asking to join the program. And
yeah.
I joined. And the thing
Crazy.
is, like, I was like, what's the risk? And but to be
Yeah,
honest, I have more of like I have a like the rubber band, you know, it's like the biggest thing is like I wasn't scared to invest into myself because I know that if you want to get where you want to go, you have to invest in yourself.
100%.
You
You're
know, you have
always
to
you're always
lean
gonna
into that.
pay. Amen. Yeah, because you're always gonna pay with your time, or you're gonna pay with your money. The problem is you might never you might not have enough time to go and figure it out. So that's super huge. And you know, if you haven't capped it, like we offer money back guarantees. We have zero refunds on all of our
Satisfaction.
merchants.
There's
Yeah,
like
we
no
have
stipulations.
yeah, zero refunds on all of our merchants. Knock on wood, it will remain that way. You know, we so in that we have no incentive to sell someone that we are not confident that we're going to get a result. So
Mhm.
I will explicitly tell it to the viewer. If you're on the fence, I might just there's a link somewhere here. Book a call. Speak to someone on my team.
No risk.
If it's there's no risk, if it's a 100% slam dunk on both ends, like they'll extend you an offer. If not, like I promise you, it's okay. If you get rejected, we did a lot of people, and that's fine. Right? There is no wrong answer. It is all love. But I guarantee you, if you get on a call, like you're always going to get a ton of value. So if you're on the fence, just click the link somewhere on there. And Mr. Logan, any final share insight, something you feel called to? You're like, man, I wish I could share this thing, or whether from your life or any that you feel called or compelled to share.
Yes. Revenue is
Yeah.
vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is reality. And just make sure you constantly invest in yourself. That's my biggest thing. And just make sure your business is profitable, make sure you're investing in coaching, and make sure that you just have like the self-awareness to kind of catch yourself when you are doing what your prospects do to you. Like
Mm,
delaying a decision, not investing in yourself, but you want someone to invest into your program. Like don't be a hypocrite.
yeah.
There needs to be congruency in everything you do.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oof. Double take on that. Be the prospect that you want to attract, because you always get, if you delay, you get those objections. If you never pay in full, you're going to get a lot of that. Like there's so much of that. Be the prospect that you want to attract. So I love you that you share that. So folks, thank you for tuning in to another Real People, Real Results. Logan, appreciate you hopping on here, just sharing
of
your
course.
open and honest experience, and kind of just having a little bit of song and dance with me. And if you've made it this far and you're like, man, I want to ascend, I'm going to go to the next level, I want to blow up my business, my commission, my sales, whatever the case may be, and you're like, I want to find out, either click the link to book a call or find me on social media and DM me the word ascend. If you don't know how to spell it, I'm confident that you'll figure it out. So DM me the word ascend on social media. You can go find me in IT or school or wherever you find me. Just DM me the word or click the link to book. And outside of that, folks, let's give it up for Mr. Logan. Congrats on the Ascender's journey. We're excited to see where we continue to keep growing and blowing this thing up. We're very happy that we're getting the chance to work with you, to watch you grow, to watch you ascend, to watch you become very profitable, and just kind of keep stacking that month after month. And we'll catch you folks on the other one. Real People, Real Results. Ciao. Ciao.